this afternoon public hearing. On behalf of the members of the Executive Appointment and Government Investigation, we would like to welcome Governor David M. Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Dennis C. Mindola's representative, Mr. John Paul Regis, the appointee, Mr. Eusebio M. Manglonia, Mayor Aubrey, and other elected officials, dignitaries, and members of the general public. Before we proceed forward with this public hearing, let me first introduce the member of this standing committee. To my immediate right is the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Dauno Manglonia from the 1st Senatorial District, Rota. And next to him is Senator Manny Castro from the 3rd Senatorial District, Saipan. To my immediate left is Senator Juan Calvo from the 1st Senatorial District, Rota. And I'm the chairman of this standing committee, Senator Francisco Q. Cruz from the 2nd Senatorial District, Tinian. I would also like to announce a couple of things in the interest of informational purposes regarding code of conduct during this public hearing. Today, this standing committee is conducting a public hearing on the appointment of Mr. Eusebio M. Manglonia to serve as a member or board of directors of the Commonwealth Ports Authority to represent the 1st Senatorial District, Rota. The public will be invited to make comments as to whether you support or oppose the appointment before us this afternoon. We value your input. However, any comments beyond the facts of the appointee or comments that are not related with this public hearing will not be entertained, and such comment will be removed from the record. At the same time, please observe minimal noises in disrupting this hearing process. Please turn your electronic to a silent mode. Thank you. This public hearing is now in session. Today is November 6, 2025, at approximately 1:29 in the afternoon here at the Rota Mayor's Office Conference Hall, Tatatsug, Rota. This is a public hearing regarding the appointment of Eusebio M. Manglonia by Governor David M. Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Dennis C. Mindola to serve as a board of directors of the Commonwealth Ports Authority to represent the 1st Senatorial District. Ms. Jolin, the Senior Legislative Assistant, will be assisting us and on this public hearing. Mr. Ben Terlai will be our Sergeant at Arms. Mr. Jonathan Diaz will be in charge with the IT. And I believe Ms. Kaipet and Hokuk is here also assisting this committee. And our legal counsel is Mr. Joe Brumudis, and they will all serve accordingly for this public hearing. This time, I would like to ask Ms. Tagabil to please call the roll.
Senator Ronnie M. Calvo,
Present.
Senator Manny T. Castro,
Stiga.
Senator Francisco Q. Cruz,
Here.
Senator Jude Yuha Schneider, Senator Karina L. Magofnia, Senator Donald M. Manglonia.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, 4 members are present, 2 members are absent.
Thank you, Ms. Tagabil. With 4 members present, we have the necessary number to proceed with this public hearing. However, the Vice President of the Senate, Senator Karina Magofnia and Senator Schneider, are accused for this hearing. At this time, do I hear a motion to adopt agenda?
Motion to adopt.
Any second?
Second.
There's a motion for the adoption of our agenda for this public hearing and was seconded. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. At this time, we'd like to invite the governor's rep and the appointed to the podium. And again, sir, before you proceed with your testimony, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Thanks for having us back, Mr. Chairman and members. Buenas holidays and good afternoon, Chairman Francisco Q. Cruz and honorable members of the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations Committee. For the record, my name is John Paul B. Regis, Special Assistant for the Administration under the Office of the Governor. On behalf of the Honorable Governor David M. Apateng and the Lieutenant Governor Dennis James C. Mendiola, we extend our utmost appreciation for all your effort on entertaining our final nominee for today's public hearing. Also, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to extend, on behalf of the administration, our appreciation to the Mayor of Rhoda for accommodating us this afternoon. I am pleased to introduce Mr. Eusebio M. Manglonia, who has been nominated by the Governor and Lieutenant Governor to serve on the Board of Directors for the Commonwealth Ports Authority, representing the 1st Senatorial District of our beloved island of Rhoda. I am hopeful that all required documents should have been submitted for review. A highly experienced law enforcement professional as well, Mr. Eusebio M. Manglonia has accumulated over 25 years of dedicated public service in the CNMI. His experience, credentials, and dedication to serving the island of Rhoda and our great Commonwealth as a whole make him an exemplary candidate for this position. His strong commitment to public service and improving the well-being of our citizens is clear and without hesitation. We are confident that he is well prepared to answer any questions you may have and share his preliminary vision for the future. He currently serves as a program manager under the Office of the Governor. Mr. Chairman and honorable members of this august body, Governor Apateng and Lieutenant Governor Mendiola have complete trust and confidence in Mr. Manglonia's ability to serve on the CPA Board of Directors, and we look for your favorable consideration. Thank you, si Jesus Mosi Zangiliso, for the opportunity to introduce him to this august body.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Regis. And before I recognize the appointee, first I would like to ask you to please rise, stand up and raise your hand so that our staff can administer the oath.
Eusebio M. Manglonia, you do solemnly swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you shall give in the matter.
Thank you, Ms. Tagabel. Good afternoon, Mr. Manglonia. I know that you provided this committee with all required documents, and if you have anything else that you wish to share this afternoon, you have the floor, but please state your name before you begin your testimony. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hafaday, Zen Tiro, Honorable Chairperson Frank Cruz, and members of the Senate Committee on Executive Appointment and Government Investigation. I am deeply honored by the appointment from Governor David M. Apateng and Lieutenant Governor Dennis C. Mendiola. It is both privilege and a great responsibility to help guide one of the Marinas' most vital economic lifelines. Our airports and seaports are more than hubs of trades. They link people, cultures, and commerce. They are bridges connecting our islands to the region, the world, and especially the United States. They drive our economy and support our community's prosperity. To serve on the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board is to shape the role for our islands today and the generations to come. This responsibility comes at times of rapid change in technology, sustainability, and travel. Our challenge is to balance operational excellence with innovation and environmental responsibility, ensuring our ports remain safe, efficient, and future-ready. I have seen firsthand the dedication of the CPA team who keep operations running smoothly day and night. I've also witnessed how innovation, good governance, and strong partnership can strengthen our competitiveness in increasingly complex global environment. Moving forward, our focus must remain clear: to grow responsibility, strengthen our infrastructure, embrace new technologies and uphold the highest standards of safety, security, and environmental stewardship. To our stakeholders, partners, and traveling public, my guiding principle will always be service to our community, our economy, and the vision of the world-class transportation agency. I look forward to working with the CPA board and management to ensure transparency, accountability, and collaboration in all we do. This is a collaborative mission, and I am committed to contributing my experience and dedication towards building a stronger, more efficient, and forward-looking ports system for the future. Once again, thank you for this opportunity, and I'm truly honored to serve and contribute to the continued success of the CPA and the Commonwealth. Jesus Masi Giliso, and thank you.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Manglonia. And again, before I allow the general public to participate on giving testimony on this afternoon's public hearing, first I would like to recognize those entities that are invited. First on the list, the Honorable Mayor RBM Hukuk of the Rota Municipality.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Hafade, good afternoon. Honorable Chairman and members of this distinguished body. For the record, my name is Aubrey Hokuk, Mayor for the Municipality of Rota. And I'm here to strongly support the nomination of Mr. Eusebio M. Manglonia to serve on the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors, representing the Municipality of Rota. His extensive experience in security operations, emergency management, and government affairs makes him exceptionally qualified for this position. Mr. Manglonia's service as program manager at the Commonwealth Bureau of Military Affairs from January 2023 to November 2024 provides expertise that is particularly crucial at this time. During his CBMA tenure, he led strategic planning and coordination with Department of Defense counterparts, secured federal funding opportunities that benefited our people of Rota, and managed complex stakeholder relationships. This experience is directly relevant as the U.S. military develops plans for operations here on Luta tentatively and in the CNY. The proposed military presence at our airport requires a board member who understands federal territorial coordination, DoD operational requirements, and the complexities of integrating military activities with civilian airport operations. Mr. Manglonia's CBMA background uniquely positions him to navigate these challenges while protecting Rota's interest. His ability to collaborate with government agencies, community stakeholders, and military officials will be essential as CPA manages their decision towards this significant development. Mr. Manglonia also brings over 25 years of law enforcement and security management experience, including his current role as program manager at the Office of the CNMI Governor. His proven leadership in emergency response planning, regulatory compliance, and operational oversight will strengthen the board's capacity to maintain safe, efficient airport operations. Rota needs a representative who can advocate effectively for our community while understanding the strategic context of regional military developments. Mr. Manglonia provides this unique combination of local commitment and federal level experience. And with that, I respectfully urge the committee to favorably recommend Mr. Manglonia's nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Arbay. At this time, I'd like to recognize the members of the Rota Municipal Council. Anyone here? Chairman?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman, and our honorable body. My name is Jonathan H. Lizama, Rota Municipal Council Chairman. On behalf also of the members, Vice Chairwoman Sandy Masca and Secretary Tilly Simon. Again, we are in full support with nomination of the Governor Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Mindiola. We are in full support of his extra duties, and I just want to thank again Mr. Sibuti for taking this role, extra role, duty of being a board member, if nominated, if confirmed, being the board member for CPA. And I know we do have a lot of challenges in this area, in this our boarding, transportation area, and we're going through a lot of military build-ups also, and I believe that Mr. Manglonia will make the right decision with the team on whatever that needs to be done in the Commonwealth. So we are in full support, and we're asking this body to go ahead and hurry the process and confirm Mr. Sebio so he can get to work. He has a lot of work ahead of him, and again, we're confident in his ability. Well, once again, thank you. Thank you for being here, and hope you guys enjoy your lunch.
Thank you, Chairman Lizama. And I would like to recognize the Executive Director for the Commonwealth Ports Authority, Mrs. Estrelita S. Ada. Is she here or? She's not here? I will recognize the board of director if she's not here. If she's not here, I'm going to recognize the board of director of CPA. Any member?
Day Chairman, Honorable Cruz, Senators, and citizens of Rota, Nano si Dolores Kiyoshi go una na director para CPA gizatinian. Pi tataizi katania tugi papa si Executive Director Estrelita Ada. Dear Chairman, I respectfully submit this letter in support of nomination of Mr. Eusebio M. Manglonia to serve on the Board of Directors of the Commonwealth Port Authority. Although I am unable to attend the public hearing in person, I would like to express my support for his appointment formally. For more than a month, the CPA board has been operating without a quorum, which has hindered the board's ability to take action on pending policy matters that require full board authority. The timely confirmation of governor-nominated appointees, including Mr. Manglonia, is therefore essential for restoring effective governance and continuity in decision-making for the authority. Mr. Manglonia's service to the municipality of Rota as a former resident director of public safety, combined with the academic background, which includes an associate degree in criminal justice, provides him with relevant experience to support the board's oversight of critical infrastructure and operational safety. His professional background, which meaningfully contribute to the strengthening CPA's capacity to ensure the security, safety, and resiliency of our ports. CPA supports Mr. Manglonia's nomination and look forward to his membership on the CPA board. His appointment will restore quorum, advance the board's ability to act on pending matters, and provide valuable representation and expertise for the Commonwealth. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Estrelita Esther Ada, Executive Director.
Mrs. Mossy, Director, any message from the Board of Directors or just the same as what you just stated earlier?
Chairman, gabi sa ngayon na ugagago as a mizun pun suporta si Eusebio Manglonia para ufatautsing represent iluta i board directors para CPA. Sa inisita nagwatal 8 member para bifandanya dan binkentusi dan binteki alpha siya na nasisidagi policy para CPA. Sa izumizo pago no nominations and apunta na pargiza para o sedbi totoluta Sempisinya pago ami CPA mandanya zaman meeting ami afa bin take na policies and officer na presence na matters ni sita bin handle gi CPA. Ina masuk ako gamno.
Si Zusmasi, Director Kelsey. Now on the list. Okay, now I would like to entertain the general public to make comments, but before I allow the general public, I would like again to remind everyone that anything that is raised that is not directly related with this public hearing, we will not entertain. And that comment will be removed from the record. So at this time, I would like to open the floor for the members of the general public here on the island of Rhoda to present comments. And before you proceed, sir, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and honorable members. Wow, si Antonio Diana. Talo gilita zo. Magayagyo zo gani, Mr. Chairman, pa besuporta zo na nomination si Mr. Bio Manglonia para este na important team board.
Dispensador no, senor. Lo, pwede record this officer mo last name?
Kitwa.
Okay.
Antonio Kitwa. Ogo Kitwa. Kwa gini no prepare, Mr. Chairman, briefly, simple na comment. Dear Mr. Chairman, my name is Antonio Gukirigua, a resident of Luta. Let me first thank you for the opportunity to submit this brief testimony in support of Mr. Eusebio M. Manglonia Bio's nomination to serve as Board of Directors for the Commonwealth Ports Authority. I join Governor David M. Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Dennis James Mindiola in attesting to Mr. Manglonia's ability to serve in this capacity. Mr. Manglonia's wealth of experience as a former resident director of the Department of Public Safety, Rhoda, equip him with the needed knowledge to make critical decisions as it pertains to matters affecting our Commonwealth Ports Authority. I am confident that if given the opportunity, he will make good representation for the beautiful island of Rhoda and her people. With that being said, Mr. Chairman, I humbly ask you and your honorable members for your immediate consent for Mr. Bill Manglonia to serve as the next Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors. Jesus Marcy again for allowing me to submit this testimony in support of Mr. Manglonia, and I look forward for your prompt and supportive action. Con respeto, Gua Hutalo Antonio Diana Kitwa.
Jesus Mosi, Mr. Kirigua. Still open for public comment?
Mr. Chairman, no putunga na austerity sa gawa mampus no mumusa este oversize na envelope na. Rosinya bay. Thank you very much.
Still open for public comment?
When sadis, well, see one pan, ginin saipan zo lo resident in Ruta sta. Si Bill premium dyan este. His I think the mayor and others provided all the necessary elements for his nomination and his background. I stand before you to give full support and endorsement to ask your committee, your oversight committee, to confirm Mr. Eusebio Manglonia. His background as law enforcement is very much needed for CPA, especially because of we are under U.S. Army attack. They're asking for portion of the public land at the CPA site to build 6 warehouses. Without Rota representation, I strongly feel that the board of directors, which the representative from CPA highlighted, that they need to have an essential number of board of directors to be able to make a determination on the request, the U.S. Army request to lease portion of CPA, and without a representation from Rhoda, I don't think that should be even discussed, because we need a member from Rhoda to explicitly express our concerns. We need such individual as Mr. Manglonia to be present in the discussions by the CPA board. Right now, there is a vacancy for that position, and I feel very strongly that Mr. Manglonia, he had also indicated in my private discussion that he will push for the benefit and people of Rhoda. So with that, again, I ask your Essential Committee, Mr. Chairman, and members to please endorse and act favorably in his confirmation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guerrero. Still open for public comment?
Good afternoon, Chairman Cruz and members of this committee. For the record, my name is Albert A. Taitano, and I'm here as the Ports Manager for the Rhoda Commonwealth Ports Authority. Mr. Chairman, first and foremost, let me extend a warm sidus masi to Governor Apateng and Lieutenant Governor Mendiola for appointing Mr. Sebio M. Manglonia to the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the beautiful island of Rhoda. Mr. Chairman, right after the death of former Governor Arnold H. Palacios, former Director Steve K. Mesgun, who represents the island of Rhoda on the CPA Board of Directors, tendered his resignation in good faith to allow the new administration to reorganize and to set a new direction of governance. This action resulted in a void and left Rhoda without representation on the CPA board. To exacerbate matters, 3 board members from Saipan are nearing the end of their terms, which eventually left the CPA board without a quorum to address critical issues that included military projects and seaport projects for Rhoda CPA. It is with the utmost urgency that the nomination of Mr. Manglonia be confirmed immediately to address the quorum issue, but most importantly, to address the approval of the United States Air Force project at the Benjamin T. Manglonia International Airport, as well as the improvement projects at the Tomas C. Mendiola West Harbor Commercial Port, which included the repair of the resident moat, improvement of berth 1 and 2, construction of a new warehouse and office building. Again, on behalf of the employees of Rhoda CPA, I humbly ask this committee and this body to confirm the nomination of Mr. Manglonia to represent our island of Rhoda on the CPA board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Buenos dias, and sidus masi.
Sidus masi, Mr. Taitano. Still open for public comment?
Good afternoon, Talon, the Honorable Chairman Frank Cruz dan ni member. For the record, inaano si David Mundo Santos, resident in Lutado na iman Bogota. No tibay na anak ko sa utungwa na bula para pan manggagaw no bendisyon na za gilo todo do esti na testimonio no Gawalele ko na mampus estar tasawi tempo za tagofunisita no representantin ginen luta kololonia sti i Commonwealth Ports Authority na bulasya no mangkritiko na issues no manurudong na za dinantici dan si Zeus masih para no labni government nota si Honorable Dave Apatang and Lieutenant Governor the Honorable Dennis Mendiola sa madanci i nomination gawaloki in full support 101%. Naya energy bonus 1% sa 100 tanay mas 3 kilo. Lopod gaigi loki joko confidence dining geo ginomineas no Senyor Eusebio no Manglonia bonus sa 1%. Law by facing di corazon medyo na expedite dan na sa didik confirm. Pwede antis di in take off di airport na kololonia sa CPA board. No, na automatic na confirmation sa guarantee naman take off amdo taf-taf. Tada delay gi flight. Sa guarantee na kumo in na blessing. Baya suguram zo na si nominee Eusebio Manglonia by guarantee na he's not gonna turn us down. Ini gi joko guarantee. Pues por favor, giza kalulong ikodasan mizo confirm si nominee Director Eusebio Manglonia. Sa mamamaylay Thanksgiving by thank you amzo no in advance. Dan di dia kakantu Christmas pues na danya enay dos da nine no na blessing. Sin mas Jesus masi na puto na dat dan good afternoon. Dan enjoy fanam jantis din fanano dan latsay betsan mizo. Masya lustensa. Zao na duda lo ke ekonomian mami. Jesus masi lalo.
Ms. Marcia, Mr. Santos, still open for public comment?
Good afternoon again, Mr. Chairman, members of the Distinguished Committee of EAGI of the Senate. For the record, my name is Ivan Merritt. I'm a voter registered living on the island of Rhoda for Senatorial 7th Precinct on the village of Dulili in Sinapalo 1 Street. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be remiss not to mention some historical facts about Mr. Eusebio Mendiola Manglonia. The 15th Rhoda Municipal Council, under the leadership of the former chairman, George Ogohokuk, its vice chair, Roman Mendiola Calvo, and myself, the secretary, first came upon Mr. Manglonia's credentials to be the resident director of DPS Rhoda under the late Mayor Efren M. Atalik. During that time, we were seen by many individuals from the federal aspects of law enforcement, especially those familiar with the Code of Federal Regulation, or the CFR. I'm very happy to say that many of them knew Mr. Manglonia, many of them supported him, and many of them understood that he will be an asset for any position in leadership, knowing that he has the capabilities recognized by his federal partners. One time, under my first employment under Mayor Atalik, I was deployed as a Unit Resource Manager 1 under the Operations Section Chief of the Municipal Operation Command. My job was to get resources during the Typhoon Mankut, and one of the section chiefs at the time was Mr. Manglonia here, that led the charge in the revitalizing of the island after the storm. As a person that works for MOC, it was my job to take the request from the field, transpire it into an email, and set it up to upper command for resources to start moving from federal hands to state hands to local hands. It's a lot of work, I'm going to be honest with you, but I was the only one that had to keep up with the pace of Mr. Manglonia. Mr. Manglonia was very intimate during Typhoon Mankut that everything must go back to normal. His the way he approached taking care of the DPS of men and women at the time was tremendous, but nothing compared to his opening his heart to the men and women on board the USS Kisga, nicknamed the Guardians of Micronesia, who were one of the vessels that brought in supplies to Rhoda. Because of his steadfast love for men and women in uniform and their dedication to their country, Mr. Manglonia was able to get the men and women of Kiska to come on board, leave their vessel and come onto the island and help beautify and help assist in the recovery effort. Again, those are the workmanship of one individual talking to many in the board. I say that will be an asset for this coming Commonwealth Ports Authority board to get an individual like Mr. Manglonia, to bring together individuals with different ideologies, different aspects of the company, but yet with the one goal of making the Commonwealth Ports Authority better. That is Mr. Manglonia. In closing, I want to say that it is always good to hear that we are now giving the reign of leadership to the younger generation. Please, when we do, in the case of Mr. Manglonia, let us give him the tools he needs, the resources he needs, and the people he needs to get in place to move CPA Rhoda. Mr. Manglonia is not new to the Benjamin Tyson International Airport. Mr. Manglonia participated during his time as DPS director with numerous tabletop. I am proud to say that I see Assistant Chief Cliff Sakura here. He is one of those that we depend on in making sure that our tabletop is as realistic as it can be, at the same time challenging for our men and women in uniform that is protecting our airport. Once again, Mr. Chairman, Jesus Mase, for the ability to tell my side of the story of Mr. Bill or Eusebio Mendiola Manglonia. And again, I support Governor Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Mendiola's appointee for Rhoda CPA's representative, Jesus Mase.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Still open for public comment? Anyone else?
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairman, Senator Cruz, and the Honorable Committee. My name is Noel Mendiola Covo, and I'm here in full support for the nominee from the Governor David M. Apatang and the Lieutenant Governor Dennis Mendiola. My years of experience with Mr. Eusebio M. Manglonia, also known as Bill. I've worked with Mr. Manglonia not only from the law enforcement field, but also when I was a teenager. He was working under the Senator Hokuk's office, and we were summer trainee. During the time, actually, I've learned a lot from Mr. Manglonia in our teenagers' life growing up, in taking responsibility as a teenager and how to train ourselves to become better teenagers and as we grow up in life. For 15 years in my law enforcement field, I have worked under the supervision of Mr. Manglonia. At the time, he was our sergeant, and I have learned a lot of trade under him. He taught us integrity, professionalism, and so many others that make me who I am today. He was our patrol supervisor at one point, and had a fair share of being he's also our tactical response commander, and then as a resident department head. Honestly, from my experience with Mr. Manglonia throughout the department, it was when he was our supervisor. He's a guy that actually does not take no for an answer, and his ability to make sure that everything that we do is the integrity of the department and following the rules and regulation of the department. He does not allow us to come in when we roll out. It doesn't allow us to come in until we make sure that the entire community is safe and everybody gets to sleep, heavenly. When he was a director, he's the kind of guy that I've seen and know that he doesn't only dream of many things actually. He talks and then walks the talk kind of guy. He doesn't just sit down and dream about it and talk about it and not let it happen. I've seen him make so many things happen on his tenure as a resident department head. He improved the manpower situation that we had. He brought so many vehicles in. He rebuilt the department's offices and helping other departments as well during the time to create a better department. So my knowledge with him is he's more reliable that I've seen, his integrity, his professionalism, and his ability to move. And I thank the governor and the lieutenant governor for actually appointing one of the greatest men to actually serve under the resident department, the board of director for the Commonwealth Ports Authority, because I know that his ability to do that job is unheard of. And not only that, his network not only consists of the island of Rhoda, but his network in the Commonwealth and his network especially to our neighboring island, which is Guam. And I know he has so many people that he knows that can actually assist in our development of our ports to help us bring in more revenue, more people, or how to build infrastructure to get our seaport, especially our seaport, which is having an issue with bringing in bigger ship. I know with the dream that they have I know there is a possibility that it can move forward. And I thank you again, and I ask for your support in approving and our Mr. Manglonia for as a nominee for as a board of director for Commonwealth Ports Authority. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kavu. Still open for public comment? Buenas dan hafade taluno honorable members gini na komite Chairman Cruz dan ni members. Gohu si Frederick Atalik Manglonia Jr. como uno na residente gini gi Island Luta. Gumay gido gini pabi faisinamzo dan bagawamzo ne konsiderasyon mizo ne nai oportunidad si Senyor Eusebio Manglonia ne mapunta ne como uno na nominee para i board gi Commonwealth Ports Authority. Yes, Honorable Governor Apatang dan Lieutenant Governor Mendiola. Tibi alabamas put afa Chichonya gi manmapus si Senyor Eusebio Manglonia lo gumay gido gini sa gumay gi konfiansa dan i anguko na nasinya si Senyor Eusebio Manglonia mo representa luta gi board gi CPA. Ti libyano no honorable members utunga na inlilia gi gaseta dan loki gi tasisentia na bula i Port Authority afafana mo na siya na no problema bandan bakku nairi pareo dam gi plasan bakku gi seaport no antes di begay gi gini na gi professionalmente na tsotso anman zo loki ne gumay gi Commonwealth Ports Authority gini gi daluta mas ki 10 años no fatsutsui do senti do li na tilibiano lo mangi na bandan tsotso gi gobernamento no bandan profesional tilibiano sa eleko na dos na klaseng gobernamento mauopi gidia parewa gobernamento ni Norte Marianas dan gobernamento ni Federal na banda. Edu muna mampus credit card lo guaha konfensako ininggeho na si Senyor Eusebio Manglonia utungo na sinya ana guaha mas oportunidad dan provecho para luta dan enteramente Norte Marianas asaho. Pos gineneno fafasinamzo members, honorable members, chairman, ning konsidera muna oportunidad si Mr. Eusebio Manglonia sa hunggan magay upreba dauli matsotso na nasinya dan guaha konfensako dan konfensan loki ipubliko ginigi daluta. Si Jesus Mosi. Si Jesus Mosi, Mr. Manglonia, still open for public comment? Anyone else?
Good afternoon, honorable members of this committee. My name is Eugene Ogo. I'm here in support of Mr. Eusebio Manglonia's nomination. I would like to express thank you to the Honorable Governor Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Mendiola for his nomination. I won't make this long. I just want to ask the committee, the Honorable Committee, if you guys can confirm Mr. Manglonia as a CPA board member. As we all know that there's a lack of quorum at CPA right now, so for us moving forward, in order for us to progress in our community and our government and livelihood, I think it's only important that we take this opportunity to confirm him. And I ask you again for your favorable consideration and favorable approval of his nomination. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ogu. Still open for public comment?
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, talo no member ni senador no promisesente jo pago para bay suporta si Eusebio Mendiola Manglonya para u fatatsungi board i Commonwealth Ports Authority. I esi na board uno gi mas importante dan preciso gi para siena mai. I rason no sangan no sa ipetan ekonomia sia dumiriri mona dan sia formatinana si a reglamento nei proprio para u kumbida i turista maugi dan loke para i business siana man manahalum parewa i seaport parewa loke i airport pues esina agencia or agency is one of the most important agency in the government. No, Mr. Manglonia's experience is more than 25 years. Gini put izotan no security as a police officer. No maulik reputasyon na gini jaluta matungo ma respeta na individual no i rason anay huhungog i gobyerno na apunta dyan i lieutenant governor apunta si Bio magufo sa utungo na siyempre no hatsogi afasya proprio na policy na iparau na lamolik mas i port both i seaport dan i airport estalaan man na tempo na taza representante ginin luta po na estina agencia na agency pues preciso na ansinya i senators o malulaji ma confirm si Mr. Manglonya Poleno si susmausi. Thank you.
Por favor, kusinan sangon mo.
Yeah.
For the record.
Dispensa no. Inano si Justin Songsong Manglonya.
Si susmausi, Mr. Manglonya.
Sumasaga sa luta. Si susmausi.
Si susmausi. Still open for public comment? Está Morazan, no? Anyone else? No. I'm just... O may sinadyo ko kata lumas malago man testigo. Anyone else wishes to deliver testimony? Because like I said earlier, once I close public comment, we will not go back to public comment. So this is the chance to come forward if you wishes to deliver testimony, whether you're in support or not in support, you're welcome to come forward and deliver testimony. No one else? So if no one else wishes to come forward, at this time I close public comment. And now I would like to give the members the opportunity to raise concern or questions towards the governor's appointee. At this time I would like to recognize Senator Cobo from the 1st Unitary District, Rota. Senator Cobo.
Thank you, Chairman Cruz, and welcome our nominee. And I would like to start off, Senator Calvo would like to start off by thanking all the witnesses, the testimonies that were granted here today. Once again, this is pretty much a historical time because we have a floodgate from the prior one till now, a lot of support in regards to getting that nominee enacted and the decision to be made. So we'd like to thank, our Honorable Mayor, first and foremost, the 3 members of the municipality for their testimony on behalf. Mr. Antonio Kirgo and representing Ms. Diana. Mr. Juan Pan, also in the business sector. Thank you for his testimony. The critical CPA director, Albert Taitano, knowing how critical the seaport and airport is, especially when we know that the testimony by Australia, ADA, given by our Tinian rep, stating that we need this position in order to hold a quorum. Very critical, very important, and we thank you, Eusebio Bill, for coming up to the plate and representing. There's a lot I've learned within the resume. I know you personally from when I got here, and I know on a personal level where Mom would take care of me and everything, and how you've grown in the profession. We're college classmates, and how you've actually blossomed. We have a wonderful testimony also in network when you're saying public relationships and networking. You know, the Department of Public Works, former director, now also Guam International Airport Authority Board member, in collaboration with their perspective, their networking system, and how we can, you know, garnish that support in helping our ports on both ends, bridging Guam and Rota and the Commonwealth, Tinian and CNMI itself, Saipan. Another one from our Antonio Cabrera, which is on the board of director. You know, another wonderful testimony as a representative from Saipan, vice chairman, also the endorsement, you know, sharing your law enforcement of 25 years, your, you know, educational background, and you as an outstanding candidate for this position. Go to see Mr. Harry Masca. Thank you so much too as well, one of our directors, Department of Labor. Thank you for your support letter. I just want to run through some of these. Dean Manglonia, our chief, you know, stating your law enforcement background, your security management, dealing with extreme situations like typhoons, homeland security, bridging the gap, you know, and getting these programs and things in place. And I know on your skill level here, the ability to work as a team with security experience during stressful conditions. So knowing you as a calm, collective gentleman you are, you know, you thrive on this, you know, extremeness in regards to what we need to do to move forward. Thank you for Sandra's letter. Councilwoman Sandra Tilly, another one from Maria Manglonia. A lot of great testimonies stating your respectfulness, your integrity, strong work ethic, calm leadership. There's a calmness in you, you know. Under extreme circumstances, we need that. Most especially like, you know, our rep and former Seaport RTNT, Justin Manglonia, how critical it is in the situation. I see Mr. Fidel right now, who handles the import and export of the seaport, and the challenge we do have with stabilizing equipment, ensuring that the airport versus the seaport grants and fundings are in place. I know we have a lot of critical issues, and your expertise will help in regards to coming together with all the stakeholders. Thank you. If I may go back, David Santos for his testimony, Ivan Merritt, Noel Calvo, Mr. Freddie Manglonia, Eugene, Mr. Justin Manglonia, and many others that we may have not announced as we collectively, you know, support and ensure that you represent the voice of LUTA in regards to the Ports Authority's issues and concerns, so we can overcome and move some of these obstacles and these upcoming projects that are really critical and necessary to align with our other import exports, and it aligns with the incentive authority as well in, you know, tourism and transportation. So thank you so much. We thank you for your you know, your adherence and opportunity. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Bill Manglonia.
Thank you, Senator Cole. Now I would like to recognize Floor Leader Don Manglonia.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, Mr. Manglonia. Congratulations on your appointment to serve on the CPA board. Um, I think you just stole the what do you call this? The written comment. The number of written comments that we received. I know earlier I mentioned Noel Calvo had a huge number, but then all these individuals that Senator Calvo had mentioned also written in support of your nomination. And so before we move any further in terms of actually expressing our support, I just want to go over a few questions and just try to see what your thoughts are and where you stand on certain issues that pertains to our ports. The first one being, where do you stand in terms of what's going on with the military intentions up at our ports?
It's both good and bad, you know, and we'll let the people decide, and if they choose that way, then we'll support what they choose. But it also helps our place with economy. It'll build our economy, so that's the only positive part.
Okay.
So
I'm glad you brought up that you let the people decide. Ultimately, you have the decision as a board member representing Rhoda, but I think if I may suggest that upon deliberation and negotiating with the military in terms of the land lease and what the final agreement is, I hope that maybe prior to voting on that, if it hasn't been voted, Board Member Kiyoshi, I hope that you can bring it back to Rhoda and push it out for one last public hearing and try to engage with the community to see if what has agreed upon is something that the community is willing to accept. And if not, then hopefully you can go back to the drawing board and do more negotiations with the military. Because, you know, there are people that agree with what's going on, and there's some that have concerns about it. Some of the concerns were never addressed in the first public hearing that was held. But I understand also that while they're doing the environmental assessment, I think the military or the airport, one of the two, had decided to forego any comment period for the environmental assessment. And you know, there are a group of individuals that are concerned about that, and so I hope that prior to any final agreement with the lease, that could be shared with our people through a public forum, so that you know you can hear out some of the concerns that they may have on whatever has been negotiated.
yes, definitely.
Thank you. Another question I would like to ask is, have you had the opportunity since being nominated to even just like walk through or visit some of these divisions or the different ports?
No, not yet, the honorable.
Okay. So even with just our airport alone, based on what you've seen or what you feel we are lacking or needs improvement, what are some of the first things that you would like to address once confirmed when it comes to matters that deals with the Rhoda Airport?
It needs a lot of tender, loving care, impression. So we're gonna need to help Rhoda.
Okay. I understand that there is funding for like the apron, and you know, if you look at it now, I think that Cohen is being extended every month, and so I know there is funding, but I don't know what has been done in terms of speeding up the process, whether it be an awarding of the contract or finding somebody who's suitable to fix the awning. I'm sorry. And so I hope that's something that could be looked at, and if it hasn't been addressed yet, or once you get confirmed, I hope that's something that you can bring to the delegation's attention to assist you as the sole representative for Rhoda to assist in speeding up the process and trying to make those necessary repairs. Another thing I would like to basically just ask is, what are some of your objectives first day in office, if you were, you know, once you get confirmed as a board member, what are some of the things you would like to address on the get-go once you've had yourself acquainted with all the necessary procedures?
Work with MVA and to add more flights coming in so it can boost our economy.
Are you in support of offering airline incentives in terms of discounts, or I don't know, yeah, a discount or waive of certain fees? Is that something that you're open to, or you have concerns about?
It's open for discussion.
Are you concerned about any of the current processes with CPA?
Once I get in, I'm gonna look into those and see what's the issues. Then from then,
But currently, do you have anything on the top of your head that maybe you have concerns about that
not
you
at
would
this
like
time.
to? Do you have any opinion about what's going on with the current situation with CPA and Star Marianas?
Not tracking on that.
And so I think maybe that's something that you would like to also look into. Oftentimes as a Senate committee or even as a Senate body or even the legislature, whenever we call CPA and Star Marianas to the table to just iron out or figure out what's going on, there always seems to be this argument that it's still with the courts. And so we haven't really gotten a clear answer as to how do we resolve this issue between Star Marianas and CPA. And considering that the commuter airport is about to open up, are we going to continue to have this conflict between the two entities moving into this new facility? From past news, we've heard and seen that Star Marianas is not paying the passenger fee because there seems to be some disagreement with the way the contracts are written out, and so I hope that that's something that you can address or work with your counterparts to address so that you can report to the legislature, even the administration, what the issue is. Because now we have this new airline that services the inner island, the three islands, include in addition to Guam, and even they're having some concerns that they're paying the passenger fee when Star is not. And so if once the CPA can address that, then hopefully we see an opportunity for these airlines to actually compete, and which may result in lower airfares between the Marianas. And so I hope that's something that you, if confirmed as a board member, can start working with your counterparts to try to address that. Oftentimes the blame is put on elected leaders to come up with a solution, but like I said, these are some of the challenges that we're faced with, is that CPA can never give us a clear answer as to what's going on with the battle between one of the servicer and CPA. And so we are fortunate enough that there's this new airline that came in that wants to service the islands and is offering a cheaper rate, but we want to see all companies strive and not one being forced to be pushed out because of unfair practices within CPA and all the vendors that support CPA. I think that's all I have for now for the first point. I'll go ahead and allow my colleagues to continue on, and then I'll circle back. Thank you.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Now I would like to recognize Senator Castro.
Thank you, Chairman. I think Mr. Bill was already doing the rosary looking at me. No, just kidding. You know, one of the best childhood memories I have, Mr. Bill was there with his lowrider Hilux in the 90s when I would visit Rhoda. Those times you would either find me at Uncle Setu's house, Auntie Mary Santos, or Tuno Flung's house. Those are the three places that I stayed at. But, you know, basically the message that I wanted to share, I also wanted to bring up something that we need to focus on. We need to focus on what we can control and not to keep focusing on things we cannot control, right? We cannot control the federal government, how they operate. We cannot control the change of immigration, federal laws, but what we can, this is something Governor Palacios used to always say, focus on what we can control. So same message goes to our municipalities, whether it's Saipan, Tinian, or Rhoda. Sometimes you cannot wait for MVA. Maybe Rhoda needs to make its own Rhoda Visitors Authority. Because if you open up the brochures on the plane, Rhoda is maybe only 2 sentences. But if you have your own marketing team, if you have your own branch of MVA, or like sub promoting the municipality, you can have double effect, right? You know how they always say, out of sight, out of mind, right? So we always have to put those challenges, and that will be your role as the representative of this municipality, to always bring, you know, everybody to also think of the challenges of your municipality. I think your strongest asset in your character is your relationship building. If only you could speak Korean and Japanese, maybe you can speak Japanese, but if you could speak the other languages, your relationship building would be even stronger. And I say this because you have a really good relationship with Gov Guam, which can be leveraged to ensure better connection options and collaborations between our different ports. You know, we say commuter airport, but it's really not a commuter. It's sometimes inconvenient. If you're gonna land, it's not like before when you had Freedom Air and PIA, like it was a real commuter airport. Now when you land in Guam, it's like you're landing in a cargo bay, right? The connection is all the way at the main terminal and you're at the cargo. How are you gonna carry all your luggage up to the main terminal? So with your connections, I hope you can also work on that, because everyone thinks that if we federalize our airport, our commuter airport, it's gonna be better. I think the opposite. A strong regional or commuter airport might be better for what our people need, because let's say you're a dialysis patient, that's less traffic into TSA and all of that. You just walk up to the airplane and get in and you can get to your destination. The airlines, we don't have to make them compete with each other, but what they should do, yes, competition is good, but we can also make them complement each other. So for example, if United is already flying between Saipan and Guam, let the other 2 regional airlines take care of Tinian, Rhoda, Guam. So that, and make it in the times that people need, because, you know, for example, if we had more flights, let's say you lived on Rhoda and you had more flights that are before 7 o'clock and they're really affordable, you know, that brings more business opportunity because you can get to Guam before the start of hours. So we really, we need to think beyond CPA, because everything connects. We need to think of the entire system as it relates to the economy and the community. So for example, you know, 25% of our budget goes to education, right? And that's good, but at the same time, if we also kill the airport, there's no money coming in, especially since our economy is relying on tourism. So Rhoda also has a lot to offer, like attraction. Like if the government, central government, also invested in attractions like the water park down there, fixing it up, next to your house. Yeah. That's an opportunity for domestic tourism, people from Guam flying over. If more restaurants offered local food, even in Guam, it's hard to find doggo nowadays. But there's a lot of manomku on Guam and even on Saipan that want the local stuff. Even bibingka, you don't see it as like you used to. So at the same time, we also need to think of customer service versus customer experience. If I'm gonna compare like my experience flying here on Freedom Air in the 90s and the customer experience flying on Star like now, the airport experience, it was better in the 90s. You know, the plane, like they even give you orange juice, like snacks on the way. There's a restaurant. So, you know, the difference between customer service and customer experience. Customer service is like, oh, I'm sorry, I messed up. Here's a gift card. Customer experience is you already know what your customer is, what they want, what they need, and you make sure that we fix the problem before they get to the airport or the store. So even as a law enforcement official, even purse snatching and drunken disorderly conduct, that also should be a problem for the airport, because if tourists are experiencing that, they won't come back, right? I know you earlier when Senator Donald brought up the controversial topic of the military, right, at the airport. And that's what I said, when I said out of sight, out of mind. I think it's also important to do proper outreach to the community to explain, cause and effect, pros and cons, because the military equals logistics. Good logistics equals better prices. So what does that mean? If the military comes in and, let's say, puts a fuel farm or divert airfield on Tinian, that means they're gonna fix the airport. That means bigger planes can come in. That means more cargo can come in. So we need to also look at things like, especially here on Rhoda, with the port is not that great, seaport. So, and the vessel that used to be, better and that can come in bad weather, I think that was sold. So it's like a barge that comes in here, which that's why all the prices went up, because now you don't have ground transportation. It's all mostly air, right? So a better airport also equals a better economy. Investments in things like instrument landing, so if it's all cloudy weather, the plane can still use instruments and land. Advanced radar. Especially, all of us probably experience that when the weather's bad, it's like you can hardly see the airport. You have to, sometimes the plane goes all the way down to the coastline of the village just to guide its way in. But again, these are investments that need to happen, and without those investments, we get what we pay for. If we have a crappy airport, we're gonna have crappy flights coming in, crappy service, everything. So I know things, sometimes people fear things they don't understand, right? The military, there can be a lot of people against the military, but to be honest, if it wasn't for the military, we would have a monopoly on our shipping. Due to the military regarding supply ships, there has to be always 2 vessels supplying all our areas, and that's why we have APL and Matsun. If it was only Matson, everything's gonna jump up. So that's the bigger picture of things. We also need to think how every decision impacts our livelihood. And I know with your relationship building, and even if it's a small time period, you can make things happen. So I hope you use this time wisely and really help our whole Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Coble. I'm sorry, Senator Castro. You done? Good afternoon again,
Good afternoon.
Mr. Manglonia. I know this is going to be huge responsibility on your part, no? Knowing that I think by the end of this month, Stormaranas, if they don't settle the issue with CPI, are going to be cease operation. You don't have any knowledge, but I think if it's important, no, that if you're given the blessing, you should look into that. Then I heard your testimony earlier, and I'm glad that you mentioned that you will always respect the sentiment of the public, no? Whether, and I guess that's you're talking about public hearing to make sure that the general public agree to whatever lease that or desire that Department of, I know that it's not Department of the Defense now, it's Department of War, that interested to do, to discuss lease on the 3 senatorial district. It has to be given the public the opportunity, just like what we're doing. We cannot just entertain an appointment without giving the general public the opportunity to participate, to make sure that your appointment is in favor of majority of the member of the public that participated, either delivering oral testimony or written testimony. The committee is looking into that to make sure that when we decide, to give the blessing, we make sure that the general public, is fully aware and they participated in this regard. So I appreciate when you mention the public, because it has to be, we have to consult the public first before we do something, because this is not ours alone, or this is not yours responsibility alone. It's also the rights of the general public. So I appreciate that now when you mention giving them the opportunity. And I understand that as a administrator or a manager or board of directors, it's our responsibility to seek further opportunity for economic growth, either job opportunity or funding for or medical referral or public school system, essential department like DPS, defense, and so forth. Those are the things that also, on another hand, that we have to look into that, but provided that the people are fully aware of what we are doing. So thank you for that. And I know you're the type of person that you will not leave any senatorial district behind, making sure that everyone is in support and making sure that there's equal opportunity and there's fairness among the senatorial when it comes to funding and assistance to make a better service for people. So, are you aware of the divert lease, Antonio?
Very not thorough, but
No, I know that you're just coming in, but
yes.
I just want to raise this because I like the way you say when you like talking, like your mentality is cooperation, working together,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
So I just want to ask, although you are representative from Rhoda, but also you are speaking on behalf of the entire Commonwealth, especially issues affecting CPA.
Right.
You're not only working for,
Rhoda.
although you are representative here, but you're working for everyone. So I raised the divert because it's very sad, to be honest. And I know that I will wait for to I don't want to ask you so much question about it because you are not a member at the time when they negotiate the divert. But it's so sad because the leadership of Tinian deeply involved in the negotiation of the lease of the divert. And that was $21.9 million. And guess what? The only amount that was spent for Tinian is the $4.9 million. The rest, the 17 million, was spent, and I don't know how they spent it. It was not given us any information as to where did that money goes. And I want to find out from the reappointment people that are submitted, because I'm not saying that any funds that is coming from specifically from any senatorial district. I like when we share the wealth. We share helping one another to assist senatorial that really need help, to make a better service for our community. But imagine the 17 million, Tinian doesn't even have a new fire truck. As we speak, I believe our fire truck is under service. If a fire truck is under service, means it's an old fire truck. And I was expecting from that 17 million at least to buy fire truck and efficient equipment for our RF personnel. Because as we speak, Tinian is rapidly moving forward with this military activity. And my great concern about this is if there should be an accident on our RF, they not respond on a timely manner and expecting for the city defense to assist, it's going to pose liability for CPA. So that's one thing that it's very sad that at least to provide fire truck so that we can alleviate future liability. I don't know how much CPA have, and I know that CPA is critical, is struggling with financial stability because of lack of airline coming in, right? And relying, because we don't appropriate funding for CPA. CPA relies on their own collection, on their own lease. And I know they're really struggling. And I know there is also a discussion of bringing back wharfage. I was the one who removed wharfage because it burdens the general public by shipping, because wharfage should be collected when it comes outside the Commonwealth. It cannot be, for me, it's a double charge, charging people, especially from the island of Rhoda and Tinian, another charge, wharfage. So we removed that. So I'm hearing, because of the struggling of funding for CPA, I'm hearing that planning to lobby to either the House or the Senate when I asked that if that should be discussed seriously, I strongly ask that you don't support that, because if that is supported, people will suffer. Of course, additional cost, paying wharfage. Enough with high cost of living here in the Rhoda. Right. Everything is, it's killing the members of the public with high commodities, price. So I ask that you do, if you're giving the blessing, you do your best, do diligence to find ways. I know that your job is to make sure that we continue to survive this bad economy and try to work with, it was mentioned about MVA, and I know that there's already an issue discussion with MBA and CPA trying to work out with airline how we can convince airline to come in with fees, reduce fees, or lessen the burden on airlines so that it can bring tourists. So it's a huge responsibility that you is gonna, and I know that it's only you, and we only have also one from Tinian, and that's why I raised this, that I think everyone should be working together, helping one another, not just sacrifice one senatorial district to survive for the other one to survive, because this is not how actually we work. Everyone should all survive the trying time. Because if one senatorial district survive, the others will survive as well, because by working together. But if a mentality is, never mind that one, we will do this, and hopefully we can sacrifice, and hopefully we can get, but that's not a guarantee. But I can guarantee that if everyone working together, everyone will be happy, right? Because everyone is moving forward on the right direction, not leaving any senatorial district behind, whether they're suffering or whatever. So I highly recommend that, although you are one representative from Rhoda and one from Tinian, but trying to convince the members of the sitting members or anyone that is appointed to come in that this is a matter of helping one another. We cannot just segregate when it comes to public assistance. Because like I mentioned, I am crossing my finger that nothing seriously will happen on the island of Tinian with that fire truck. I don't know whether it's already done, but even if it's done, if it's an old fire truck, I don't know how that fire truck can be able to assist or to any airline that landed on Tinian and have any emergency situation, especially, a serious situation. And CPA, DPM did not respond in a timely manner. Believe me, civil litigation will come in. And that's the thing that we have to prevent, because at the end of the day, any civil liability or any civil suit is going to come to us. I don't know whether we can be able to. We have a situation here. We're trying to get money from MPLT because we have a situation, and if that should happen, I don't know whether it's more than whatever that I mentioned earlier. So it is important for me to raise that and make you aware of what's happening. And if that should happen on any senatorial district that have a development happening, even if it's a lease, I know that that funding is given, that budget is given to CPA. But we have to be, everyone at CPA should be mindful. Where did that original lease came from? So we have to understand that. I'm not saying that that money cannot be spent for Rhoda or cannot be paid stipend. All I'm asking is we have to satisfy the needs to avoid liability, to arise because of lack of equipment or lack of proper trainings for our officers, So again, I appreciate your commitment, and I know that your willingness to serve in this capacity, and I hope that you raise this with your colleague, and hopefully everyone will understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not asking, or I'm not trying to be greedy. All I'm asking is we have to do the right thing by preventing something serious to happen. Because we don't have the resources. Even the federal government is assisting us with subsidies for our lack of funding. So if they know that it is our fault, it is our negligence that this kind of incident will happen, I don't think we can be bailed out by any federal government because it's our fault. So I know that you guys know what to do, but I raised this because it does not happen to how I thought it should be. Imagine, 21.9 came from Tinian, but only 4.9 spent just for parking lot. Our international airport is not even operating yet because there's a lot of deficiency. At least, at least to give courtesy to the leadership and see how we can, because I was asked by former board of director to assist Rhoda. I said, I don't have any problem. It is not my call, it's you guys' call. But I'm not opposing anything to assist Rhoda. But all I'm asking is please don't finish that money because we still haven't purchased any new fire truck. TNN is very active. Different construction company coming in. And sooner or later, up north, it's going to be spent billions of dollars. That means a lot of people is going to be coming to TNN for that construction project, even the harbor. So that's why I'm so, it's so sad that this is happening. I don't know where we're going to get money to purchase those equipment to make sure that we don't, any incident we're not responsible for any kind of a, lawsuit or liability. I hope if you're given the blessing by the full members of the Senate, I hope you raise this concern, and I hope that they can look into that and see how they can, alleviate some of what I said to prevent any future lawsuit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other member wishes to recognize floor leader?
Thank you, Chairman. Just closing thoughts, Mr. Manglonia. Something that Senator Custer had kind of brought up. Just looking at the state of our facilities on all three islands, I ask that you work with the board members and just revisit maybe the fee structure on vendors being able to utilize some of the space at maybe a discounted rate. I know that the legislature had recently approved for the airport to use some of the seaport revenues to help subsidize the cost of running the airport operations, but just seeing as how those operation expenses are covered by seaport revenues, maybe work with the business community and try to figure out a pricing range that is agreed upon by all the vendors who would like to establish their business within the airport facilities, just to make use of the available space that's there and to allow for our tourists and our visitors to, enjoy the amenities and the products that are offered at our airports. Even just right now, right? If you leave Saipan International Airport, it's pretty bare. And with the understanding that DFS pulled out, from the sound of it, we're hearing that there is a bid, but in the meantime, or maybe even just identifying certain spaces that could be used for local artists or entrepreneurs to showcase or display some of their products, that can go a long way, and the impact and the image that our tourists sees upon exiting or even upon entering the CNMI. You have a support letter from someone who I guess will be your colleague, Mr. Jesse Garcia, who is also a board member of the Guam International, was it GIAA? Yeah, Guam International Airport Authority Board of Directors, right? And so you guys can collaborate and share ideas and see how also what Rhoda can avail of in Guam's airport, whether it be an expansion of the terminal there on Guam for Rhoda passengers, or even Guam visitors wanting to visit Rhoda, or maybe even whether if not an expansion, maybe even moving closer to the international airport for easier connectivity to the rest of the world, right, or even Asia. And so those are just some of the recommendations that I hope that you can also consider. Just thinking about, like, again, what Senator Custer had said, his memories of when he used to fly out of Rhoda at a time where we had shops at the airport, right? Now all we have is one car rental agency. I know last month we received requests from certain businesses here in Rhoda that are seeking an exemption to some of the fees, or even a consideration on the reduction on some of the fees to allow for them to pick up passengers or drop off passengers. Right now, or I'm not sure if it's happening now, Port Manager, but I know in the past you would see visitors walking out of the airport with their luggages just so that they can meet the car rental or the hotel operators outside of the airport property. And so maybe the airport can work with the businesses here in Rota. We can come up with a price that is negotiable and that is reasonable, considering the economic conditions we're in, with the understanding again that the legislature had passed the statute that would allow for a 5-year period for the airport to use seaport revenues to subsidize some of those expenses. And so again, going back to my earlier suggestion about the discounts and the rate structure, hopefully that's something that could also be addressed, so that a lot of our local entrepreneurs here on Rota can also avail of some of the space at the airport to sell some of their goods, so that tourists can buy them before they leave our island and have that memorable experience when they exit our island. So that's just something I wanted to add on, in addition to what Senator Castro had brought up earlier. And with that, Chairman, are you?
Thank you, Florio. Recognize Senator Castro.
So maybe I'm going to break the record because a lot of follow-up, but just the concept that came to mind. It's a question, since I didn't give you any questions earlier. What's one thing that CPA, DPW, and CODA have in common?
The letter C.
They get a lot of the same federal grant funding. So that's why in places in like Hawaii, it's not a separate entity, it's Department of Transportation. So when I was talking about customer experience, right, because right now tourists and again, we are trying to diversify our economy, but that doesn't mean we're gonna abandon tourism. We're gonna also try to figure out why are they not coming back, right? One thing is tourists, especially from the Asian countries, mass transit is basic. Meaning like when you get out of the airport, it's easy to get on a train or a bus or taxi. It's convenient. If you ever like experience us when you're at the commuter or you're at the main airport in Saipan, there's no CODA bus waiting for you. So what we have to do is the municipality, for those on medical referral, they have to pay for a liaison office to shuttle the patients, right? The tourists, when they come out of the airport, they have to pre-arrange with the hotel, or they have to, but there's no, it's not like before in the 90s where you have like 50 taxi outside waiting and you have like 25 big buses, right? A lot of the planes coming in now are low-cost carriers, meaning they're the budget. But that doesn't mean that, just because they're budget travelers, that also we're gonna give them budget service. We should also synergize with CODA and all the agencies to make sure that we're working together, right? But yeah, I'm also speaking out of experience, because when I firsthand I saw the president of Palau. He was going to Japan and he flew through Saipan because the connection made sense. But the president of Palau, they told him you have to go outside of the airport and come back in. When there's just, like in other airports, he just walks to that side. And I know there's a lot of federal policies and procedures, but if there's other airports that have it's an easier connection, I think we need to look into that. That's also an opportunity. Connections, right? So if we have more people connecting, there's going to be more demand for flights in our area, right? So I just also want to give a shout out to United for changing the connection services so we don't have to overnight in Guam now. They made it closer. So see, somebody is using their common sense now, but at the same time, you also gotta think. Sometimes your friends at the Guam airport, maybe you don't know. Maybe that's intentional. Like mandate everybody to to stay overnight so the hotels can fill up and we have to spend extra. So you have to also, you know, think of those kind of things too. Like maybe there's other motives to certain decisions. So you're up to par with your competitor. But thank you, Mr. Bill. I think that's all I have for you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Recognize Senator Cobo.
Just real quick, man, you guys are giving great ideas. I know you guys mentioned, I know Chairman mentioned the fee structure is very important. I remember back then when we did have an experience, this is the island of Rota, and you know, you have your restaurant or a lease, right? But then you have a fixed lease at the airport. And then when we had two industries, air industries that went down, one of them closed shop, you have the flow, you know, the revenue is generated based on, you know, other external factors. And how can, in knowing the situation, people that lease at the airport, this is one great example, is that when they opt out in the industry, the flow of traffic is minimal to none. So then, but the leaser is granted, they have to stick with certain contracts. So I'm looking at, you know, we talk to the board because conditions change. It's like environmental changes that happen. And right now we're at an emergency budget support. In knowing CPA is usually the first to get that reduction and the last to get returned to 80 hours is very critical. And they are the forefront, both seaport and airport. So rate flexibility bill is, you know, something that we're hoping to look at, not just in CPA, but across the board. I'm looking at the Tinian, we have the mayorship networking in all three islands. You're very well acquainted with Department of Defense. We really need to consider alternative revenue streams. So that discussion with the military lease for the Commonwealth CPA to, you know, have some municipality funding, hopefully support, and with our delegates CPA board, that will assist in hopefully, you know, reducing the subsidies from the seaport. Like Senator mentioned, we're tapping into seaport budget to help airport budget, and pretty soon our resources are going to be exhausted. So what do we have when natural disasters hit? You know, and so forth. Another key point to mention is the, you know, capital investment. Right now our seaport's trying to get up to par, and what do we have for the essential projects coming up for our municipal island, and push that forward so we can get all the infrastructure needs and things in place. So with your help, those are some of the thoughts that I have, and ensuring that Rota and Tinian, especially when you're mentioning about the disproportion of funding and things, not to state, but ensuring that our outer municipality in regards to CPA has its outer island equity. And, you know, I know you do well in advocating for that and networking with all the stakeholders. So just food for thought, and thank you so much, Chairman, for those thoughts, and our nominee. Thank you, Mr. Mulo.
Thank you, Senator Calvo. At this time, all public comments are well taken. Let the record reflect that all written and oral testimony will be included in the Senate Standing Committee recommendation report and will be forwarded before the full Senate members in consideration for confirmation or rejection. At this time, before we adjourn, I would like to extend on behalf of the Standing Committee of the EAGI our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Mr. John Paul Regis, the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's representative, the appointee, Mr. Eusebio M. Manglonia, and most especially the members of the general public for your participation and involvement during this important public hearing process. And we certainly hope that we continue this dialogue of communication between us, the elected officials, and the people, to keep you abreast and informed of our current and future Senate hearings that ahead that relates to public best interest. This concludes this public hearing for today. Do I hear a motion for adjournment? There's a motion and was seconded. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. This public hearing is adjourned. And again, I would like to thank Mayor Aubrey Okuk and the people of Rhoda for allowing us to utilize this Mayor's Office conference hall for this public hearing. Thank you.